If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know that I've been on a huge spinnerbait kick for about the last year or so. It's not just a great old school bait that's easy to use, it catches some giants. And today we're going to talk about how I'm rigging it, how I'm using it, and I'm going to show you an old school hack that is sure to revolutionize how you fish a spinnerbait. Stick around, you don't want to miss this one. There we go. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a nice fish. Come here, come here, you. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing. And as I said in the opening, I've been on a spinnerbait kick for about a year and a half now. And the reason that came about was simple. The chatterbait bite in my area just died off. Bladed jigs such as slobber knockers, jackhammers, and what have you have always been pretty popular in this area, and with good reason. They were always effective. I could have one tied on and always be able to count on some reliable bites and some nice fish. But as time went on, those bass got used to it and the bites became more and more infrequent until I wasn't getting anything at all. That's when I decided to go back to the bait that the chatterbait replaced, the good old spinnerbait. Well, before we get into that, if you like bass fishing content that tries to be inclusive for everyone, whether you fish from a boat or whether you're fishing from the bank, and always thinking about budget because not everyone has the money to spend on bass fishing gear, well, this is the channel for you. Click that subscribe button. And while you're down there, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a like. Now, we often think of a spinnerbait as a one-trick pony, don't we? Slow roll it down the bank near some cover, near some laydowns, especially on windy, cloudy days, and that's what a spinnerbait is best at. But I'm telling you, that's not the case. You can pretty much fish a spinnerbait under any conditions if you've got the right one. It's like anything else. You need the right tool for the job. On a sunny day, calm winds, bluebird sky, I'm fishing something like this. This is just a regular Ozark Trail spinnerbait. I paid $2 for this at Walmart, something like that. It's got the double gold willow blade. It's kind of got a shad pattern to it. And on a calm day, I can use something like this or something in a bluegill pattern and just work it nice and slow through that hydrilla. And it comes through nicely. It comes through very cleanly. It's one of the things about a spinnerbait I really like is it comes through vegetation way better than you think it does. I'm just super slow rolling it, and on those super sunny days, I'm able to get some really nice strikes. So just because it's a calm, sunny day doesn't mean you can't fish a spinnerbait. So if we do have some wind, if we have a little bit more wind, but still some sunny skies, then I'm going to change to something like this Guggen Zinger here. I still have that white color, but now I've got chrome blades, which are going to have a little bit more flash in the water. That wave action will tamper that down just a little bit, and it makes it just about right. So on those windier days that are sunny, I'm able to use that to a huge effect and catch some really nice fish. I've done it time and time again. I tie that spinnerbait on and I start casting it around, again, working it nice and slowly like this through that hydrilla. I'll keep my rod tip up when I'm working for most of the time because I want to tick the tops of that vegetation. If I'm feeling a lot of vegetation, I speed up just a little bit. But if I'm not feeling any vegetation at all, I'll slow it back down. That's how I control the depth, because the thing about a spinnerbait is those blades, when they're spinning, they create lift. A willow blade doesn't create as much lift as an Indiana blade, and an Indiana blade doesn't create as much lift as a Colorado blade. So you need to bear that in mind. So what if we have some really chalky or murky water? Well, we had a good bit of rain here over the past week, and that water got so muddy, it was like chocolate milk. And that's when I went to this guy. Very loud, very bright. I've got an Indiana and a Colorado blade on there. This makes a lot of noise and it gets a lot of attention. Whenever I worked that through that muddy water, I was able to have some really nice hookups. Often when nothing else was working. I was trying swim baits. I was trying Texas rigs. I tried the Mojo rig. I was even trying some crankbaits and I wasn't getting any results at all. But when I went to this, that's when I started getting bites, and not just little bites either. I was catching some really nice fish using pretty much just a spinnerbait. But now we got to talk about the star of the show, the spinnerbait that to me stands head and shoulders above all the others, and that is the painted blade, right? Now, the amazing thing about these is this one I'm getting at Walmart for about $4, less than $5. And this is a Strike King spinnerbait. This is a 3/8 ounce, and it's got that painted blade on it. You know, it's just a regular willow blade, and it's got that painted blade pattern. For some reason, this guy right here just drives those bass absolutely crazy. I work it almost any condition that I want to. I worked it on cloudy days, I worked it on windy days and calm days, and I'm working it through that vegetation. Again, nice and slow. This guy gets huge bites. Whenever I'm chasing bigs, whenever I want to get those really big bites, I'm tying this on because for some reason on the lakes that I fish, this guy right here gets huge blowups. And I've caught 3, 4, 5 pounders over the past year just on a spinnerbait. And catching fish like that just reinforces what I'm already thinking, that the presentation and the way this looks in the water, how it looks like a little school of bait fish, just attracts those better bass. They can feed on more than one little fish at one time. As a matter of fact, they want to feed on more than one little fish at a time. And this guy right here, this is brand new. If you watched a video a few videos ago, I lost my last one on this whenever I hooked into a giant and it broke the line on the plastic lip of my boat right there as I was trying to get it out of the water. I put this on, I tied this on, went out to the lake. We had a little bit of wind, just a little bit. We had a little bit of cloud cover, started working this around. In just a few minutes, I was able to land this nice girl. Good thing about a spinnerbait is it's one of the easiest bass fishing lures to use. It's just essentially chuck and wind. You know, if you're trying to teach somebody how to bass fish, a spinnerbait is one of the best ways that I can think of to get them introduced to the sport because of how easy it is to use. It's just literally chuck and wind. Bring it back nice and slow. And those are the easiest types of baits for me that I can think of to use. There we go. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a nice fish. Come here. Come here, you. There we go. Spinnerbait already doing work. Easy, 1.5 pounds. Loving it, loving it, loving it. If I can get him unhooked. Boy, you had it good there, buddy. I'm sorry about all that nonsense. If I can just get... There we go. Very nice bass. Very, very nice bass. Right in that 1.5 pounds, almost 1.75 pounds range. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Thank you so much, buddy. We sure do appreciate that. Ooh! And there he goes. That was cool. Let's go catch some more. So that was nice. That was fun. Right off the bat, I was able to catch a very nice bass in that 1.5, 1.75 pound area, which for the big lake, that's actually on the bigger side ever since they stocked the lake a few years ago. The lake was very hard to fish. It had been fished out. There'd been nothing left in it. As a matter of fact, Bill Dance said of it that they would better off be if they drained it and turned it into a parking lot. But they redid the lake and they stocked it. They've taken better care of it. There's Florida strain bass. Now they're still a little on the small side, but at least they are there and they are catchable. You can still catch some 5 and 6 pound monsters. I do that all the time. But for the most part, you're going to get in that 1.5 to about 2.25 pound. That's going to be about your average size for that lake. And a spinnerbait works perfectly for that. I will take those all day long. Now, it didn't even stop there, right? It was continuing as the day went on. I kept that spinnerbait tied on, I kept working it, and well, I was able to catch even more nice fish. Kind of see if anybody wants to play with the old spinnerbait for a minute. You know, before last year, I hadn't spit. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, come here, you. You're not getting off. Oh, she got off. That was a quick release. This water here is a lot more clear. I can actually see the hydrilla. Got him! All right. That spinnerbait is just paying dividends. Oh. Bent snot out of it. Oops, hang on, buddy. Hang on, buddy. Let's get you. There we go. Not even a pound, 3/4 of a pound. Still nice fish. Appreciate having you. Thank you, buddy. I gotta bend my spinnerbait back. These guys have been crushing my spinnerbait today. Alright. There we go. Okay, so one of those maybe didn't count. I count it because it actually hit the bottom of the boat and then flopped out. So if it touches the deck of the boat, I count it. That's my rule. You know, if I'm not fishing a tournament, I'm just fishing for fun. Again, that was another bass in that 1.75 pound areas. Now, the other bass, it was a bit smaller. It was about 3/4 of a pound. But the thing that I noticed with spinnerbaits is even when I'm catching dinks, they're bigger dinks. I'm not catching little 1/4 pound or 1/2 pound squeakers. The thing about a spinnerbait is I'm usually catching fish about 1 pound right in that area. That's about the smallest that I'm getting. So that's something else that I really like. So that got me to thinking, if this painted blade is so good, what else can I do with it? I mean, what if I want different types of painted blades? What if I want to work them in different ways? And that's when I got the bright idea. I'm going to paint my own blades like I did with this guy right here. I just painted this willow blade myself. Makes everything nice and easy. I just used a regular rattle can, a white paint, and I took a Sharpie after it dried. You have to wait till it dries, and I made that little black dot on there. And this is another great fish catching tool. It works the same way as that other one does. It allows me to change that out. And I could put that on a Colorado blade. I could put that on a bigger willow blade or whatever. It gives me the flexibility to be able to fish more types of spinnerbaits depending on what I'm trying to do and depending on the situation. And for those of you guys who like to have a red blade on your spinnerbait, you know, I can do that too. I've actually taken that inner Colorado blade, and for that, I've used good old nail polish. And that's all that I need. And now I've got that red flash on this bluegill kind of impersonating bait, you know, and it's got a little bit bigger willow blade on it. And this I'm dragging in a little bit deeper water. This is a 1/2 ounce. I can get this down in that deeper water, and that red blade just thumps and flashes and gives off of that red. Now, does it look like a bluegill? Does it look like it might be bleeding or injured? Who knows? But I do know that it is super effective and super easy to do. Now, if you want to go back to having an unpainted blade, super simple. Just get some nail polish remover and a cotton ball or a few of them, a paper towel, what have you, and just wipe it clean. It wipes right off. And that only, you know, it not only allows you to make that bait back to what it was with either gold or silver or whatever, it also allows you to paint it a different color if you want to. Maybe a dark blue, maybe black, maybe chartreuse. You know, the endless possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Now, how am I working these? Well, this is my favorite spinnerbait setup. This is a 7.2 Shimano Celis rod. These things will run you I don't know, about $60. So they're not super expensive, but they punch way above their weight. These are great rods. This is a 7.2 medium heavy. This is a great spinnerbait rod because while it's supposed to be a fast action tip, it actually feels a little bit softer to me, which to me is perfect for spinnerbait because I don't want a super stiff fast action tip, because a lot of times I want to be able to lean into that. I'm not jerking that rod so much when I'm doing a hook set as much as I'm leaning my whole body into it. That way I feel I get more consistent and better hookups. I'm using 12-pound fluorocarbon. That's all I use on this. Maybe 10 if I'm fishing a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. And this is a 7.5-to-1 lose. And this is an old speed spool. They don't even make these anymore, but still, it works great. Now, I have to be very mindful because this is a 7.5-to-1. It's a little bit on that faster side, but it does allow me to slow things down if I need to, but I can also pick that speed up if I need to. If I get a bass that hits it and runs at me, which a lot of times happens with a spinnerbait, I can pick that line up real quick and then catch up to that fish and lean into it. So again, very simple setup. I only use one rod. I don't need 15 or 20 different rods for a spinnerbait. That's all that I use, and it works, and it's so effective for me. So this is my system. This is what I'm doing day in and day out whenever I'm on the water, and this is how I'm catching so many nice bass on a spinnerbait. If you haven't tried fishing a spinnerbait in decades, come back to it. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. So there you have it. My system for fishing spinnerbaits. And an awesome hack that's sure to change how and when you fish a spinnerbait. If you haven't tied one on in a long time, go back to them. There's a reason why these classics are proven fish catchers. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.